Hello, welcome to Grandma B's Busy Life. I'm Brenda, and today I don't have time to slow down and drink the coffee. Not only do I not have time to slow down and drink it, I don't have time to slow down and sit down and have a video. I'm eating my dinner on the run on my way home from a job, and I wanted to talk today about something that I just experienced. As I was driving home, I passed Camp
Continue
Williams.
on Utah 85 for 8 miles.
I've got my navigation on too, but I was driving home and I went past Camp Williams, which is where my grandpa is buried, my grandpa Bill, and I have never been to his grave. He died while I lived in Kentucky, and I was unable to come home for the funeral. So I decided I would stop and see his grave, and I did, and it was really a good experience for me to just sit and reflect on Grandpa and look at his grave and just think about him. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Grandpa Bill. He was a happy person. He had the most adorable little rolling laugh, and when he would laugh, his whole face lit up. It was so awesome to hear him laugh, and he lived a simple life. It's funny because he lived the tiny home life before tiny homes were a thing, because he lived in a travel trailer by himself, and he loved it. He spent his days hiking and going around. He didn't just sit at home. Even as he got quite a bit older, he loved petroglyphs. He hunted for petroglyphs and knew where they all were in southern Utah, and could take you and tell you the story behind the petroglyph and tell you the history behind the people that made it. And it was really cool to go hiking with him. He is my mom's dad, and he died in 2010. So he's been gone for 11 years, and I don't know why I've never been to his grave, but it was great. He was in the Marines. He was a U.S. Marine, so which is why he was buried at Camp Williams. It is a veterans cemetery. Grandpa Bill also was a jokester. I don't know how many times I would ask Grandpa a question, and he would always come back with a smart aleck remark. And it took some real prodding to get a straight answer from him. All of my kids loved him. He was my grandpa, but even as a great grandpa, all of my kids loved him, and especially Elijah. He loves Grandpa Bill and has a lot of Grandpa Bill stuff. Actually, we had a very sad situation. He had put his stuff in storage. Elijah had put his stuff in storage for a few months while he was transitioning from one apartment to a house, and Grandpa Bill had brought back an incense burner from China while he was stationed there during World War II, and Elijah had inherited it while it was in the storage, and it got broken into, and there are several things that we noticed that are gone, but the incense burner was smashed to smithereens. It was awful, and Elijah just was broken. I hurt for him because Grandpa Bill is so important to him. The great thing is, though, Grandpa Bill's flag that was on his grave is at my house. It belongs to Elijah. My mom gave it to Elijah because Elijah had the closest connection with Grandpa, and it just was so important to Elijah. But luckily, the flag was at my house. That's irreplaceable. I mean, the incense burner from China that Grandpa Bill brought back is irreplaceable too, but the flag that actually sat on his grave is that would have been devastating even more. But anyhow, so I just wanted to just talk about Grandpa Bill, and I know that most of you watching don't know my Grandpa Bill, but we all have people in our lives that we've lost, and I just want to encourage you to slow down and take time to think about them. That's where I slowed down today. I really wanted to just get straight home, but I decided to stop, and it only took me about 30 minutes to slow down and spend some time with Grandpa Bill. So I did, and I'm so glad I did. And I just want to encourage you to take some time to slow down and think about the people in your life that you've lost. I know Memorial Day is coming up, and I didn't even plan this for that purpose. I just happened to be driving by and thought, oh, I'm going to stop and see Grandpa. And I had a little talk with him while I was there and kind of told him what's going on in my life and told him about some things that I remembered about him, and then told him I loved him when I left. But I miss him a lot, but I also know that he was a positive thing in my life. Actually, before I go, I want to tell you one little story. The last time I saw Grandpa Bill, he was in a care facility, and we knew he was in his... My camera's falling. Because I'm driving and I'm not watching the camera, I'm watching the road. But he was in a care facility, and I had come and visited from Kentucky, and when I walked away, I told him goodbye, I hugged him, I told him I loved him, and I walked away, and when I got to the end of the hall, I turned around and looked, and he was still standing there. And I smiled at him, and he waved, and I waved back, and I knew at that moment it was the last time I was going to see him. And it was heartbreaking. It literally stands in my top 3 worst experiences, worst moments in my life. And I cried for a very, very long time, knowing that I had to go home to Kentucky and I wasn't going to see Grandpa again. I just can't imagine, had I not gone to see him. What if I had not gone to see him? I would have regretted it. I'll never regret taking the extra time to go see him. So I guess today, instead of saying, slow down and drink the coffee, I'm saying, slow down, think about your loved ones. Oh look, I'm here at a light. I can actually look at the camera. Slow down, think about your loved ones. Make sure that you see them when you can, talk to them, call them, and don't miss that opportunity. Even if it's heartbreaking when you walk away, you'll never regret being there. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.